A few days ago, I was curious what the most popular post involving Osu was on Reddit. I expected it to be something like Vaxe's Tsukinami play, or maybe that one clip of White Cat.
No, you can't. I decide what I can and or can't do. It's like always those guys, like early in the chat someone said I can't FC Road of Resistance with hard rock. And then I just did it. Like, that's just a pussy mindset. I can do whatever I want. Look, that's what I'm talking about. I don't care about your shitty opinion, Frosty boy.
But what I found instead was a story that I'm honestly really surprised I didn't already know. A story of victory in the face of all odds, and one that includes one very famous streamer. This is a story of the Osu logo and r/place. So first, what was r/place? It was essentially a massive mural where every person could place one pixel every 5 to 20 minutes. It was set up as an April Fool's Day event of sorts, and it wasn't really meant to be anything too crazy. But very quickly after it started, it became clear that r/place was a big hit, with tens of thousands of people joining and placing their pixels. At first, people just placed them randomly. But as time went on, subreddits began to come together and make their logos, or something else famous in their subreddit, which mostly just led to big subreddits having large pieces of property and smaller subreddits having suitably smaller ones. And Osu was small enough that it pretty much shouldn't have had a plot at all. And even if it did, it would likely be taken by another subreddit with exponentially more people in it. But at the beginning of r/place, only a few minutes after it started, the community had made this cute little logo. It wasn't much, but it was something, and it meant that at least for a few moments, Osu did have a spot on the massive canvas. And it wasn't just that one, because people began to make more. And by only an hour after r/place started, there were a few different little Osu logos. And then, someone had a great idea. Why not build one massive Osu logo instead of a bunch of little ones? It was genius, and after a short while there was an Osu Builders Discord, which quickly surpassed 100 members. This also gave Osu a clear advantage over most other subreddits, who, around this time, were mostly completely unorganized and placing random pixels. The Osu Builders subreddit also devised an exact size and pixel measurements for the new logo. A logo, which was very, very large. During this planning, there was also another logo build that took over 6 hours that looked like this. Yeah, it wasn't too great. And that wasn't all, because by this time, the Blue Void was also coming to take out the Osu logo. On top of that, it was also a very, decent size in comparison to the outline. But because of the planning that the Osu Builders subreddit was going through, there was a second chance with their plan that was about to be put into action. The only thing was that it was going to be very difficult to build such a big logo with only a few hundred people, which is why they called upon our brothers in arms, Ohio State University, who made a truce with them but decided not to help the build. But this minor failure didn't matter too much, as by this time much more of the community had gotten on board with the idea, and after a short while, the Osu logo was getting there. By this time, Osu had eaten many smaller communities and made one of the biggest logos on the entire place, which didn't sit well with some people, because this was much, much bigger than many people thought it should have been. And there was one specific person who decided to take it into their power to destroy the Osu logo. Tyler1, along with Greek God X. They both took r/place very seriously, and they didn't like how much space the Osu logo was taking up. They also suspected the community of using scripts, which, while it may have happened in small amounts, it was clearly almost all made by real people. But they ignored this, and with the combined tens of thousands of fans that the two had, it seemed like it wasn't even going to be a challenge for them to destroy the logo. Tyler1 also had the idea to raid the Osu game Discord that was coordinating the build. And that wasn't all, because around this time, it wasn't just Tyler1 who wanted to see the Osu logo disappear, but almost all of the r/place subreddit. And in only an hour, they had almost entirely destroyed the Osu logo. It was an all-out defeat, with the logo that the community had worked for over 10 hours to build was destroyed so quickly. At this point, they could have given up. And some did. But there was still a strong feeling that it wasn't over just yet for the logo. And so they began rebuilding. First, they began to regain some territory with the motivation of trying to take down Tyler1, but it wasn't nearly enough. Then r/Toho came in and gave some assistance. This helped, but Osu was still at a huge deficit, and after a short while, they were losing ground again. It seemed like nothing could save the logo, and at this point, there were many other bigger subreddits who also wanted the giant circle, including Firefox and Rick and Morty. And so, it was pretty much over in the minds of everyone outside of the community, with many citing the now defunct Osu logo and trying to decide what to fill it with. But, in the middle of the second day, with the logo destroyed and thousands upon thousands of people trying to take it for themselves, there was a call to arms. Since Tyler1 was taking this so seriously, why don't we? And so, the r/Osu Place subreddit was created, which got very large, very quickly. The creation of this subreddit also bolstered the Discord to over 500 members, and it began to happen. Osu Game allied with Adventure Time to fend off some of the attacks, and now actual progress is being made. The subreddits for the Philippines, SAO, Mega Man, and Kirby all became allies, meaning that the Osu allies now had over 200,000 combined members. By now, the logo was slowly coming back, but it still wasn't enough, because although it was being built faster than it was being destroyed, there was so much damage that was already done that it would be impossible to fix before the end of Place. And more than just that, Tyler1 hadn't been streaming all day, and yet he was still almost winning. When he actually started up his stream again and noticed that Osu was trying to rebuild, it would be over. The final blow. That even the hundreds of thousands of combined members couldn't stop. But, in this darkness, there was a spark of hope. r/Overwatch. A former enemy whose creation the Osu logo had eaten up, and a community with over 500,000 members, more than all the Osu allies combined. An unlikely ally for sure, but with the condition that they could have the O for their Diva Bunny, they agreed to help in the defense against Tyler1. And with their help, after a short period of time, the Osu logo had been rebuilt to perfection. And it was even better than before. But even as the Osu logo flourished, the threat of another Tyler1 raid loomed in the distance. And at the end of the second day, when Tyler1 turned on his stream, the battle began. When his stream began, he was so sure that he'd destroyed the logo that he didn't even check for the first 20 minutes. And, as predicted, he decided that he needed to take it down. And if Osu hadn't spent the entire day building allies for the defense, it likely would have been just like before. But, even with the tens of thousands of Tyler1 fans and their multiple bots, they couldn't do it. And although they put up a good fight, by the dawn of the third day, it was clear that Osu had won, with the logo almost entirely restored to its former glory. And on top of this, the extremely cancer r/Osu Game Discord also raided Tyler1's Discord, which resulted in this gem of a video. And with that, Osu had won. First against Tyler1, then against the entire r/Place subreddit, and then against Tyler1's second wave. Starting with humble beginnings, which quickly morphed into a more ambitious plan. A plan which in hindsight was doomed to fail. Without their perfect combination of persistence and planning, the logo would have been destroyed almost immediately after it began. But with some insane coordination and a couple of lucky breaks, it happened. And by the time the 72-hour build time was up, the logo looked like this, accompanied with this triumphant message. We did it, everyone. Thank you all for maintaining the Osu logo. F*** everyone who tried to stop us. We pulled through in the end, and I'm proud of us. It may not have been perfect, but it was much better than it ever had the right to be. And that was a victory in most people's eyes. After Place ended was really when people started to gain an appreciation for the insane protection of the Osu logo, with this Minecraft chart showing how it's the most contested point on the entire Place. It was certainly a victory, not just for the Osu logo builders, but also for the game, which was probably in a lot more people's minds after this whole thing was over. It was a real testament to just how far the Osu community would go, even when faced with an insurmountable task. And even if it was just a stupid April Fool's joke, I think it's a pretty legendary story that embodies just how dedicated the community can be, whether it's clicking circles or making one out of squares. And I think that's pretty perfect.